Bad news for Terence Crawford. Josecito Lopez will fight Cody Crowley. Stay tuned to this video to see how that affects Crawford in the welterweight picture. You dig? What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing gang. Y'all know what it is. Smash the like button. Now, sources, ESPN is reporting Josecito Lopez and Cody Crowley have agreed to a deal for PBC, Premier Boxing Champions, welterweight bout in this spring. Crowley, listen, this is an ESPN reporter. He always has a bunch of typos. It says Cody Crowley, right? And he spelled it one way, like crow. And then he spelled it Crowley. Like, it's just weird. I don't know. I guess I'm a stickler for the English language or whatever. Y'all be killing me with these typos and stuff, especially when it's supposed to be like, you're not gonna find too many typos in my titles. I'm like really meticulous about that. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I've never messed up on YouTube, but you know, some of y'all gotta get y'all spelling game up. Anyway, let's start from the top. Sources, Josecito Lopez and Cody Crowley have agreed to a deal with PBC welterweight bout in the spring. Crowley is coming off a career best win, a decision over Abu Kakarov in December. And this, I think it was on Gervonta Davis's undercard. I know I watched the fight. It might have been Davis versus Isak Pitbull Cruz card. So if you watched that full lineup, then you would have watched this fight. Good fight, great performance. Cody Crowley dominating, had Abu Kakarov leaking, and this was to facilitate an eliminator for Errol Spence, or at least for the IBF belt, which Errol Spence now holds. So that's why I say Errol Spence. Says Josecito Lopez was set to fight Abel Rahman. See, this is what I'm talking about. There's nobody named Abel Rahman in boxing. His name is Abel Ramos with the S, but whatever. On Thurman Barrios undercard before suffering an injury. End quote. That's from ESPN. Now, I know some of you guys are scratching your head like, Dave? Man, but Ego, what does this got to do with Terence Crawford? I did not get to this level that I'm at right now in the boxing game without forward thinking and without thinking ahead. So trust me, I always got a master plan. And the reason I'm saying this, and the reason this unrelated, seemingly unrelated news, how it affects Terence Crawford, is because Crawford, I told you, in the last 2 years, he has fought at the very end of the year. So he's dry spell and pure inactivity until about November or December. That was the case the year he fought in the pandemic, I believe, with Kell Brook in 2020. And that was the case when he fought last year against Sean Porter, two guys that Errol Spence had already beaten. These are facts. So I made the Ego Stradamus prediction that Crawford, he might have a similar year. And I said this a while ago, probably last year. He might have a similar year because his options are running down and running out. And if you look at it, this is how it negatively impacts him. Now, for starters, Crawford and his team, they must see it. Everything I'm saying is true, so they must have started to see it because they've done, including Crawford, which I'll do a video about. This is why you guys got to subscribe to the channel. But they've started talking and making statements about Crawford maybe moving up to 154, which is a whole nother issue. And in my other video, I'll detail how that still is a problem, seeing how I predicted these things, and 147, just like 154, is predominantly owned by Al Haymon Premier Boxing Champion fighters. So if Crawford doesn't sign to PBC or Al Haymon, or at least find some way in, I don't see what major mega fights he's gonna get. So regarding today's news with Josecito Lopez and Cody Crowley, this is how it affects Crawford, because Crawford and his fans are seemingly under the impression that that Errol Spence doesn't have options, but I'm, I guess, a bit smarter to look at the big picture and suggest that Jose Cito Lopez, PBC, Cody Crowley, PBC, he just fought for an IBF eliminator against Abu Kakarov, as I stated at the beginning of this video. So if these two are fighting, the winner will become the mandatory for Mr. Errol Spence, or at the very least, if Errol Spence loses to Ugas, whoever has that IBF belt. Again, where does this put Terence Crawford? It puts him in no man's land. He's training, he looks like he's in great shape, but who can he fight? Look at the welterweight picture. People think I'm saying things to be mean or to hate. I don't do all that. I speak the real. I speak that gospel. Church. The reality is, Crawford, he may have a stagnant year, or his next fight, if he does find a fight, might not be what you expect or a fight that you truly want to see. In addition, Mr. Terence Crawford is currently enthralled in a lawsuit with his former promoter, Bob Arum, and Top Rank. So just from me looking at the welterweight division, who can Crawford fight? Because you have Mikey Garcia just lost, and he's talking about moving back down to 140. You have Virgil Ortiz is fighting Michael McKinnison, so those two are booked up. As I just reported, ESPN had released Jose Cito Lopez, Cody Crowley are fighting. So that's an IBF eliminator for the winner of Errol Spence Ugas. So you see behind the scenes, there's millions of options, right? Sean Porter, he already fought him and he retired, so there's no reason for a rematch, or that's not going to happen. Keith Thurman just beat Barrios, and Keith Thurman probably has to rest. So it's like, Errol Spence is fighting Ugas, and so on and so forth. Manny Pacquiao retired. I mean, who is Crawford going to fight? I highly doubt Conor Benn. I would be shocked if Eddie Hearn felt like putting a rematch room fighter in there with Terence Crawford. He knows how good Crawford is, right? So who's he going to fight? Rashidi Ellis, he's a great fighter. Shout out to my dude, Rashidi Ellis. Spar with Demetrius Andrade, in case you don't know him. Beat Alexis Rocha or whatever. Great performance. But he's fine-tuning his decision because he's leaving Golden Boy, from my sources. He's leaving Golden Boy, and he's either going to Premier Boxing Champions or he's going to Top Rank, from what my sources told me. So with that being said, that's another player. So I really don't see it. I don't know who Crawford can even fight. That's how it pertains to him. Who can he fight at 147 that is not booked up, that's a big mega fight or reasonable? Even if you look in the direction of Josh Taylor, because I did see something earlier today. Listen, I do the research so you don't have to. And I seen something, here it is. Josh Taylor says, if a fight with me and Crawford happens, I believe 100% I'm capable of winning, yada, 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 fight, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, Terence Crawford is suing Bob Arum and Top Rank. So are they gonna do business right now when there's a pending lawsuit that you guys can check some of my older videos to hear about? That doesn't sound likely to me. You can say whatever you want, but to me, that don't sound likely. Because if somebody's suing me, I ain't doing business with you. I'm not Bob Arum, so I can't tell you what is. But Bob has been pretty petty in the past, so I don't really see this fight happening. Because Crawford definitely has a big chance to beat Josh Taylor. You can't say he doesn't have a chance. So you think Bob Arum is going to put somebody who has a chance to beat his former undisputed champion, somebody who's already beefing with you in the courts and via a lawsuit, and they're gonna risk it and have no paperwork on Terence Crawford or no options on Terence Crawford? So if he beats Josh Taylor and knocks him out or something in Scotland, then Crawford, that's great for him, but then that leaves Top Rank in shambles. So that doesn't look likely. So riddle of the day, tell me who Terence Crawford reasonably could fight that's not booked up, that is not retired, that's a big fight. in the welterweight 147-pound division. This is the trouble. I try to warn y'all. Y'all didn't see it, but now the walls are closing in. Y'all didn't want, it's like an Indiana Jones movie. Y'all didn't want to see it. Now the walls are closing in. You got no choice but to react to what I'm saying. I'm the truth in this boxing game. You'll see. Drop me your names in the comment section. At this point, who is available for Crawford to fight that makes for a big fight? Because these are the things. He said, Errol Spence, there's nowhere to run, and he'll have to fight me. That's not true. Errol Spence, Ugas, that might be worthy of a sequel. We don't know. They might do some stuff like, you know how boxing works, where they're like, okay, the winner of this fight is the mandatory. We want to put Jose Cito Lopez and Errol Spence in Texas. So like I said, Errol Spence continues to have the bigger and better and clearer options in the welterweight picture, aka he's the big fish. And I'm done talking. And I'm out. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster.